Final polling stations in Canada are now closing in that country's federal elections. Prime Minister Stephen Harper is seeking a fourth term, but he's facing tough competition from two parties that may unite to block that dream. CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg is in Toronto. He joins us now live. Roee, an exciting race. What can you tell us at this point?
That's right, and this is a very large country from east to west. The polling stations in the East Coast closed a few hours ago, and they're just winding up now in Canada's western provinces. We're getting some early predictions as the votes are being counted, but of course, analysts are now crunching the numbers, trying to figure out who will be the next person to lead Canada.
Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper is as popular among his supporters as he is loathed by his opponents. The Conservative Party he heads has been in government for nearly a decade. His message has been progress, but his critics say Canada, under his leadership, has seen anything but. Scott Reid used to work as a senior advisor to former Prime Minister and Liberal Party leader Paul Martin.
There is a sense of economic malaise, particularly in central Canada. The oil patch has been hard hit, but it's easy to dismiss that as cyclical. In Ontario, people are now looking at 7-8 years in a row of flatline economic growth. They're saying, I've had enough. I want to have some hope. I want economic opportunity. I want growth. I want jobs. And I don't want a little bit of it. I'd like a larger portion, please. And I think that's fueling some of the desire for change.
That change may come in the form of Tom Mulcair. He's the new leader of Canada's New Democrats, and his leftist NDP was favored to win, until recently. Just weeks ago, national polls began shifting towards the center-left Liberal Party. Its princeling leader, Justin Trudeau, the son of a former prime minister, had been written off by many as too young. A tactical campaign has boosted his national popularity, but it's unclear if his party can win enough of Canada's 338 districts. Political researcher Brian Kelsey used to work for a conservative provincial government in Toronto. He says Canada's first past-the-post system in those districts, known as ridings, may backfire on the Liberals.
In a Canadian election, if you've got broad support across the country and you're competing with political parties like the Conservatives and like the New Democrats who have very strong support in different regions that's concentrated, it's actually possible that you could see the Liberals place a strong second in a lot of seats across the country and maybe even win the popular vote and yet lose in terms of not getting the seat count they want.
There are also other potential spoilers, smaller niche parties and smaller niche issues that may, on election day, change voters' minds, making the race difficult to predict.
After 78 days of campaigning, Canadian voters have finally gotten their say. This was the country's longest election season in more than a century. Now, Harper's Conservative Party had deeper pockets than any of its rivals and easily outspent them, and as a result, many say this was really their election to lose. Mike?
Roee, what about foreign policy? What role is that playing in this election?
Well, this has really been an election focused on domestic issues, but remember, Canada and its southern neighbor, the U.S., share the world's longest land border. Prime Minister Stephen Harper has publicly confronted President Barack Obama on issues like the Keystone XL pipeline. He was criticized domestically for dragging Canada into the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, the TPP. The Liberal Party leader accused him of negotiating that deal under secrecy, and he's been criticized domestically for that. But also remember, he had about $2 billion worth of trade deals that he signed with China. He also made Canada the first North American country to trade in the renminbi, basically sidestepping other currencies like the US dollar in between those trades. So internationally, he's really tried to put Canada back on the map, but the issues here have been domestic one, jobs, protecting the economy. And Justin Trudeau had a very key opportunity here when the NDP leader said that he would balance the budget. Justin Trudeau said he will actually increase spending over the next 3 years to create more jobs, to get the economy going. And that seems to really have given him a boost in the last several weeks. Mike?
Roee Ruttenberg live from Toronto, where the vote counting continues.